Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. I hope everybody's having a lovely start to their long weekend. And with that being said, let's dive in the TA. Things are ready to explode next week. We are probably going to be busting into new all-time highs on S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. As you can see right here, SPY does look like it wants to bust higher. We've been consolidating for 4 weeks now in this range. We are probably about to see a $10 to $20 move up in the short term. It doesn't have to go exactly straight up, but is probably within like a month or so gonna, find itself up there at 630. The Nasdaq over here had a whole bunch of consolidation. We have a $40 range that is about to break. It is very likely about to take place. You have decreasing volume here. All right. While you're in this range, I'm guessing you're about to see volume spike, and we're probably about to see a $30 to $40 move up over the coming weeks. I'm thinking the coming 2 to 6 weeks that can take place. Again, doesn't have to go straight up. We are probably going to see pretty much what we saw here, where you break out to new high, you pull back into that, and then you continue higher. You broke out here, and 5 weeks later, you're sitting up here $30 higher. You're probably going to be getting a similar move. That is what we're going to talk about here in this video. We're going to start off here with the SPY. You see my little arrow right here. We're probably going to, follow that guy, and over the following weeks, head up to 630. Could head up this week, pull back next week, continue higher next 2 weeks, and then pull back after that. That's what I'm thinking here. Very clearly, have consolidation, broke out of that consolidation, followed by more consolidation. This is a recipe for an explosive move. Resistance over here on SPY is going to be 610.78. Above 610.78, we're talking 615 and then 620. That's what we're going to concern ourselves with this week. Probably, yeah, I'm not gonna say probably. I'm gonna say, I think solid chance 620 can be hit this week. On the downside is support 608.15, 605.36, 602.13, and we'll just call it there for now. Underneath there, you have 599.70 and 597.75. I don't think we're gonna be testing back down there, considering we have fallen 3 times and it has built out this range here. We're now at the top again. If it's going to fail here and you get to down here 602.13, you give that up, you're probably just going to take out the bottom of that range. That is typically what happens when you get the false breakouts or breakdowns from ranges. Like, let's just look at over here. You broke underneath the support. You think you were going to fall, but what happened? You got bought up right away. You closed back, within this little, range you established here, and then you traveled up to the top end of it. That is typically what we see. So if you break under 602.13, you're probably going to just start coming back down here, and it's not looking good. You don't want to see that after this. This is a beautiful look. Just continue higher for a week and give us our breakout. That's all I'm asking for. So that's SPY over here on the Nasdaq QQQ. Weekly time frame looks very similar to the S&P 500, except I'd argue it looks a whole lot more bullish here. Broke out to new high, picture perfect break and retest off that all-time high zone right here. Was supply, you flipped into demand. You're just proving it's demand yet again over here. And you also came down and reverted back to the mean. Your 21 EMA over here on the weekly time frame. You have plenty of upside, plenty of room to the upside. You're right here around your short-term moving averages. You've been consolidating around them, or you've been the same range here. I mean, technically, it's been since all the way over here. But, you clear as they did pull back. You have, 8 bars here. But in reality, you've been in the same price range here for 3 months. And we are just now about to break out of that. Extremely likely going to have a big $30 to $40 move to the upside here. On the daily time frame, we'll take a look at resistance. We have 539.15. Above there, there's nothing. We're talking 540. So above 540, we're talking 545 and the 550. That's what we'll pay attention to for now. I do think we're probably going to be at 560 though. In no time. I do think it's probably going to go something like this, where you just keep trending higher, and all of a sudden, oh, you're $23 higher. Okay, I think that is probably what's loading over here. And how does this look? This back over here end of December. All right, how does it look at, just going higher there? 3 weeks. I think that can happen. All right, support 533.82, 531.24, 528.15, and 525.97. That's where you're paying attention to. Over here on IWM, start off with the weekly time frame. And a nice hammer candlestick, nice lower wick there. You're consolidating this 3-week range you got going on here. This was an inside week compared to last week. Break above 230.55. You're probably going to get a $10 move to the upside, considering this one weekly candle is about $10 there. And that could bring you up here to 240. At that point, I do think you're just going to start pushing all-time highs at 244.98. What is your support on IWM? You have 224.66. 221.79, 220.23, 214.60. Resistance 226.64, 228.04, 230.55 above there, 233.30, and then 235.92. DIA. Again, I mean, these things look bullish here, guys. You're consolidating here under previous highs. You got the same look on SPY, QQQ, and DIA here. 3 out of 4 major indices consolidating right underneath previous highs. Expect a leg higher. Do not be bearish right now. The money is on the upside. I just took a loss on SERV. The thing fell 40%. I'm making my money back here over the coming 2 to 3 weeks here on the upside. Easy money here. This thing took a 40% crap. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Not minus 90%. All off open. I'm like, oh my God. I've never seen something like it in my life. I've never been in something that did this in my life. Oh my God. This big guy over here decided to dump his stake. This guy wants to rally into the heavens. While this guy was about to rally into the heavens, I'm thinking here I'm about to have like a 50 to 100K payday on Friday. And then it does that. I'm like, oh my God. What did you do? I just didn't see it coming at all. As I don't think anybody with this chart right here could have seen that coming at all. If you weren't, just really thinking, oh, Nvidia's going to sell the $3 million freaking position over here and the thing's going to gap down 40%. Yeah, if that wasn't a thought that crossed your mind, I don't think you thought that was coming. But me personally, guys, big tech over here looks like a very easy way to make that money back for me. So, I saw minus 55K all in one day. I was like, oh my God, that's the biggest losing position I've ever seen in my life. Never seen one bigger than that. Nope. It's 55 in one day. Didn't think it was going to happen all in one go on a position. I didn't think it was going to happen. As we can see, though, it happened here. And I'm just saying, if this thing breaks out, you're going to get what we're about to talk about, doing some crazy thing. You see the MAGS ETF right here. You see this breakout. These Mag 7 stocks, guys, they're going to go crazy. They're going to be free money. We're going to ride this trend up. It's been consolidating for, 8 weeks now. It's about to go up. We're about to see it return back to the high. It's about to be pretty crazy. About to make money. And, I just want to pat ourselves on the back, and I just want to say, hey, there is not another channel that you can, go out there and watch on YouTube and just know you're absolutely going to be making money over the coming weeks. It's pretty much like that every single week here on this channel. I just want to pat myself as well as, just all of us on the back for just having something just so organized here. We just always know where the ball is moving. I love it. And, looking back 2-3 years ago, this is kind of the vision. And it was a sloppy vision. But it was a vision. I kind of just kept pushing, and all of a sudden, hey, 2 years later after these updates, we got something it's very organized here. We have, a system here of tracking where the market's going to be moving consistently. And, I'm serious. 2-3 years ago, I really, I knew there was a way to do all this. I knew eventually it would come together. And these videos are, kind of all of that coming together. So I'm proud of that. I just want to say that. So, cheers to making money over the coming weeks, guys.
That looks easy.
Cheers to me to, making back my money. Probably over the next 2 weeks, it's just going to be me making back my money. I'm fucking tight about that. But it is what it is, guys. It is one of these things you definitely couldn't see it coming. I was just absolutely just in shock all day on Friday. I was just like, oh my God, how did that fucking happen? You couldn't wait one more day? I was going to sell at 25, 25, new all-time highs there into 24, 25. I was going to be fucking out. I can't believe that shit. I can't believe it all. Part of my French. As you can see, I'm still heavily salty on it. It is what it is. I really thought it was going to be a massive day, and then it turned into my biggest losing day I've ever had. I was like, what is that crap? But, as you guys see, the MAGS ETF right over here, it is about to break out. QQ is about, the Nasdaq is about to break out. S&P 500 about to break out. So you got the normal stocks about to break out. You got big tech definitely about to break out. And then you have specifically the MAG 7 stocks. They're the most set up right now for this move. So guys, you ride those MAG 7 stocks and you make some money over the coming weeks, because once this breaks out, you're going to get 2 to 3 weeks here where you go way up. All right, you get these 2 to 3 week lunges in the upward direction here. I want you guys to have, a position, or put yourself in a position where you can take advantage of that, because we haven't had that for the past few weeks. It's been, absolute dog crap trying to just ride a move out, because you have to keep taking these profits every 2 to 3 days on these moves, instead of actually, you want to be taking your profits, but you want to also, be in that spot to catch a trending move right there. We haven't really had that other than, recently here. Other than that, you had during the week, you get bought up. Monday, you got slammed down. During the week, you get bought up. All right. And a bunch of chop right there. And now we're finally starting to ascend here. We're about to see some days like this, some days like this. And these are the ones where you want to make some money on, because when it's moving sideways, the opportunities, they're there. They're just not as readily available. And I want everyone to understand that. Coming over to VIX, so we have the MAGS, ETF, and NASDAQ about to break out to new highs, about to break out that bull flag. VIX breaks out of this massive pennant here to the downside. So it's breaking down. It's not breaking out. So we talked about a scenario where, the market pulls back here over here. It's not happening. So I don't think the market's going to pull back to start off the week. I think we're going to rally. And then if you get a pullback in the middle of the week, I think that is when, VIX is going to do something like that. I already drew a path over here. I was kind of just charting, with myself. I was actually singing when I was charting over here. We're gonna get a little down here, guys. Most likely, we're gonna be coming down. This is the zone where, every interaction with this zone, every time you've tested it for years now, you've gotten a reaction. You got one, as you could see, you got one here, you got one here, 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 here. I didn't make the zone off of over here. I made the zone off of over here. All right. There's this weekly or this daily wick right here. I made the zone off of so long ago, and it's just been, ping pong in price ever since. And, I don't think this is going to be an exception. If it is an exception, it's going to go like that, and then you're going to retest it. And on that retest, that's when the market pulls back. So we take profits over the coming, 1 to 2 weeks. We get this move. Probably, this week we'll get this move. You take profits into the move. You trade that move. You take profits. And then, you add back some on that pullback so you can ride that next little wave up as VIX comes back down to 1270. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to bounce here and we just, rally on Monday, Tuesday, pull back Wednesday, maybe Thursday, consolidate, boom, rally on Friday, close out the week strong with another strong weekly candlestick over here on the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. I'm not really sure exactly how it's going to shape up, but then again, we never do. And somehow we still, we have a pretty good, we got our finger firmly on price over here, okay? It's definitely not the saying I was aiming for, but I don't remember how that goes. So that's the Henry saying. Tesla over here, guys. Nice weekly candle. Like I said, that MAGS ETF, it's really looking like it wants to break out the bull flag. And honestly, Tesla kind of looks very similar to the MAGS ETF. I know, it looks a little different there. I understand. But Tesla just broke out to new all-time highs. Pull back. I don't think it's going to be a false breakout, guys. The guy is now, he's part of the presidential cabinet. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think this company is going to die. I know he has said he's going to be putting, his time and efforts into Doge instead of Tesla over here over the coming months. But I do not think this is going to just fall flat on its face. We got a weekly reversal candlestick here this week. We got the Dragonfly Doji. We got a pin bar candlestick, reversal candlestick off of increasing volume and off of the weekly 21 EMA. So I called out this spot right down here, 320 to 340. Looking back, I think it was during this week, I said that's where I think price is going to bottom. That's what I want to be buying. I think this thing is going to get bought up. I think you're going to take out Friday's high, get above the daily 9, and then I think you're heading to 384.29 this week. That's what I think is going to be tested. I don't know if it's going to be right away this week, but I think that is what we have a setup for, is to test this critical spot. All right. First of all, start of your supply zone, it was supposed to be flipped into demand, but Tesla decided to fall flat on its face after Trump got elected, is what it is. So now it's going to be a supply zone. So we're going to push up into it, but it is also the bottom of, over here where you had this range, and then you felt, flat on your face out of that range. So if you come back and retest it, expect sellers there. You also have the weekly 9 EMA here. So I know you're bouncing here at the weekly 21, but a lot of times what happens is you get price just dancing around the short-term moving averages, and then you can move back up. But, let's say it reclaims it, then it's probably going to pull back at some point and retest it. It's probably not just going to have a V-shape move back up. It's probably going to, I don't know exactly. If we don't have a setup that looks like this, I'm going to be completely honest. We don't have something that looks similar, except over here, which I'm going to say doesn't really, it doesn't look like this, because this was just an all-time high break and retest right there. Over here, this failed. But yeah, I do think we're probably going to struggle in this 384 to 400 spot. So until we reclaim 414.50, 384 up to 414.50, until we get over there, I'm going to be fishy about there. I say this is the area to start taking profits into. You had this reversal opportunity if you're buying with me down here. All right, these last 2 days right here, this is where, I really started laying into this guy. And if you were a buyer with me down there, then up here is where you want to be taking profits. And then once you get above here, this is the next move that you can play. But until you reclaim 414.50, you have literally, this is where you had sellers up here. This is where you wanted to flip it, but in the end, sellers won. So you got to reclaim the zone. That's Tesla. Nvidia, guys, you closed out with another strong week off of decreasing volume there, but I will point out, the last 2 days, you did start having that increasing volume. So it started picking up on this move up after you pull back. Oh, this is exactly what I was just talking about here on the weekly time frame, where you get above the short-term moving average, you come back to retest it, and then you dance around it, and then you launch off of them. So that's exactly what I was just talking about on Tesla on the weekly time frame there, but this is over here. Oh, actually, guys, this is so picture perfect. It bounced off the weekly. Okay, never mind. But, you are having the ping pong action. It's not exactly what I was talking about. I got excited for no reason. Regardless, guys, Nvidia over here, you're bullish into next week. 141.90 is the next resistance. You're probably going to hit it at this rate. The 4-hour RSI is not even overbought yet. It's going to get overbought. Expect it to. The weekly chart, phenomenal. Monthly? Oh, no one saw this one coming. What the heck is that? Oh my God. Don't get bearish on the biggest company in the world. It's probably not going to be falling right now. So that's the video. And guys, again, MAGS ETF about to break out. Those are only the stocks that we're going over right now. These 7 stocks that we're going over right now, that's all it has in it. And that thing is about to break out. All of these are probably about to bounce back. Amazon broke out over here from a range of $17, moved up only $10. You're probably going to be taking out these highs and going higher. You're probably going to go at least another $7 higher. I'm going to say $245 incoming. You just have to be patient. But I imagine there's probably going to be a green weekly bullish engulfing candle that prints this week. That is what I'm guessing here. Come over here. Google printed that, pin bar looking candlestick off of, which, it's a bullish reversal candlestick, off of the weekly 21, as well as our 183.79 level right there. I told you this was the exact spot. You're trying to be a buyer here. You want to be a buyer down here to 182 for a move back up to 190.34 to 193.31. I do think you are going to get there. That's where you have your short-term moving averages. Get back up here, expect sellers. All right. Same concept as what I just discussed on Tesla. If you're a buyer down here, you sell into your supply zone. same exact, you know, like literally the same exact concept. Your supply zone is the all-time high. You had the false breakout here in this case. You pull back into it. If you're buying it, sell into that supply zone. That is all you need to concern yourself with. Get above 193.31, then we got 198.16 and 202.88 and 208.70. Microsoft still finding buyers at the spot we pointed out, you know, quite some time ago that you're probably going to be finding buyers in. You're still doing it. You printed, you know, a lower wick on the week candle. It's not bullish, not bear. I'm going to say it's more bullish than bearish, but, you know, it's a pretty neutral candlestick there. I think on the daily time frame, we could just see very clearly the past 4 candles are green candles. So you're gapping down on these things. All right. All of these are gap downs except for, yeah, actually every single one of these candles is a gap down. Right here, you closed here. Gap down into the zone, got bought up. Gap down into the zone, got bought up. Gap down into the zone, got bought up. Gap down into the zone, sold a little bit into 405.57 support and got bought up. You know, it's very clear that buyers are here. This is your demand zone. I do think get above 410.29 again. I think it's going to start snapping back. We're talking 414.85, but quickly back up to 420.69. Now, if you can get above 420.69, we're talking 427.55 and then 430, 432 in the short term. All right. In the short term, you get above here, you can make it back up here. I know, Henry, you're crazy. You're crazy. Talking the golden pocket. All right. You get above here, this spot. Bing, 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 bing. 420.69. You're going to have 432.618 fib. All right. You're going to have 61% retracement incoming. That is going to be the next target. All right. If you want a level to go off of, however, you see the reactions off of this level, you have there 1, 2, 3, 4. And you actually gap through it. So you can kind of call that 5. Very big level right there. It's probably going to act as a magnet if you hit 432. So 430, 432. Put it on your chart if you please. Meta. Put the target on the board. 740. All right. We put it out in Thursday's video. And where are we now? We're at 740. And what happened when you hit our target? You started selling off. All right. So, you know, over here, guys. And, you know, someone actually said something recently to me about, you know, these divergences here on the hourly and 15-minute time frame. Guys, if you see these things, just watch the weekly and daily time frame. Look at the setup that was going on here. This is the strongest stock in the market right now. It's literally continuously been dragging up to new highs. I wish I just kind of held, you know, the calls I had purchased, you know, here on this day. I wish I just held them all. It is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. Am I want to hold things into expiration? No. All right. Would I have been so well off if I did not do that or I did do that and just completely, yeah, honestly did nothing else but just hold on to Meta the whole time? Yeah, it would have been amazing. Okay, you know, all of us could have completely just avoided this whole mess if we just locked and loaded and all in Meta here and we'd be millionaires. All right. But does anybody know these massive moves are going to come ahead of time? Yes, actually, we do on this channel. We're just pussies and we don't, you know, we don't hold through the whole move. It is what it is. But no, real talk, guys, you don't know these things are actually just going to keep grinding higher. So don't beat yourself up about it. You are now at the 740 target. If you pull back, it's a clear as day buying opportunity. You haven't even hit the daily 9 EMA this whole time. When you pull back, you're probably not going to find buyers at the daily 9, but you're probably going to build some crap out like that, just like you did here, just like you did here. All right. Oh, also, just like you did here. Big advance up, and now you build this crap out. Big advance up, build the crap out. Massive advance up. You're definitely going to be building something like this out for, you know, 2 to 3 months whenever it starts. So I personally wouldn't be chasing this move. We got in on this move early. I was salty that, you know, I sold so early into this move. But again, it is what it is. You know, we're weeks after earnings now, and you never know how these things are going to go. You really don't. So it is what it is. But yeah, Meta, guys, like the MAGS ETF, it's going to break out. This thing's probably going to continue being a leader. I don't think it's worth chasing. I think at some point you're going to start doing that crap. And then, you know, we can trade the oversold conditions. But right now, you know, someone mentioned the diverges, guys. Don't pay attention to those. All right. I'm going to be completely honest. Something like Meta, when it's in a breakout mode, when the larger structure is that, just look at how strong the stock has been. You have the short-term moving averages. Every time it pulls back here on the 1 hour time frame, it gets bought up. You haven't gone underneath it the whole time. Look at the 4 hour 9 EMA. You have not gotten a 4 hour close underneath the 4 hour 9 EMA this whole time. If you pull back here this week, expect buyers. So like someone said it to me the other day, and this is all I was thinking about. I looked at, the daily, the weekly, the 4 hour, and like, no, this is the strongest stock in the stock market. It really is right now. There's nothing else that has been dragging itself straight into highs, that is so big in the Nasdaq. All right. And, like I'm just saying, this is kind of insane. Don't beat yourself up about it if you don't catch it, because it's insane. Apple over here, guys, weekly time frame, massive weekly candlestick right here into the golden pocket. We found sellers last time. Well, typically, if you have a big wick right there, you sell back down, and then you find buyers in the golden pocket, and you push back up towards the top of that wick. You typically are going to take it out and then advance. So I do think we're getting above 247.33 this week, and we're probably going to start pushing towards 260.10. I do think new all-time highs are incoming for Apple Boy over here. Easy money over here on Apple, in my personal opinion. I'm not saying it goes straight up, but I think it's going to keep dragging itself higher, grinding for a few days, and then having, just more legs up. I think we're literally getting a repeat of this, except it looks more explosive. So it's something to keep in mind. But, free money over here on Apple, in my opinion, over the following 2 weeks, back to new all-time highs, 260. I haven't looked at premiums yet, but I'm going to be looking at premiums because what are we going to maybe be playing over here? Apple. Because we're going to new all-time highs. All right, so we got a 1, we got a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These stocks make up this ETF right here. This ETF right here looks like it's about to explode. These stocks, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple. These are what you focus on over the coming 2 to 3 weeks if you want to make money. All right? You want to make easy money riding this trend out, you focus on these stocks right here. What are the leaders in this move right here that I am going to be focusing on? All right. Well, first of all, Meta is the leader. I'm not going to focus on. I'm not chasing that bad boy. But what am I going to be focused on? Apple. All right. Apple. Biggest winner here, Apple. Clear as day, this thing wants to push back up the highs. You lost the short-term moving average. You reclaim them. What happens? You're going to push back up the highs. All right. What is the second one we're focused on? Tesla. Weekly pin bar / hammer candlestick off of the 21 EMA. You almost came down here and tagged our golden pocket. Picture perfect over here. Picture perfect heavy entry for myself. And I do think this thing is about to be getting up to 384. So reminder, if you're a buyer down here with me, this is where you want to be a seller. And then once you get above here, you have another move you can play. But right now, why would you want to risk this thing going like this? If it gets up into the zone, okay, you don't have to sell exactly 384.29, but I say it's a perfect level to do so, considering it's the bottom over here. You have the weekly 9 EMA, bottom of the range, and the bottom of our zone over here. There's no reason not to. All right, you caught a $30 to $40 move. We talked about this ahead of time, how you're going to be up. We're talking 70 to 100% on April calls by the time you get back up here. Looking nice. All right. Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, I do think is also going to be the leader. All right. I think Nvidia gets back up the highs with how this thing is looking, guys. This looks like a giant flag. I know it, maybe it doesn't look so pretty to you guys, but this looks like a sloppy version of what we had over here. They're both actually sloppy. This looks like a version of this. What else? Goog, for the time being, back up to 190.34 to 193.31. I think that's coming this week. That could be something you're playing right there. All right. But, really here, what's about to play catch up is Microsoft. All right. So me, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft. That's what we're talking about right now. Get above 420, things go crazy. But, get above 410.29, you're probably going to start pushing 420.69. Get above 420.69, things go crazy. We're getting to 430. Chips. All right. Chips. We got one more in here that I'm going to show you that I'm going to be focusing on. Actually, we got two. They're looking pretty. SMH. You're above the halfway mark in this range. False breakdown. We saw the false breakout resulted in a test of the opposing side of the range. We now saw the false breakdown. Probably going to result in a test of the top of the range. Probably going to see 262.26 in the short term, next 1 to 2 weeks. Avgo. Already talked about Nvidia, so we're not going to talk about it. I think it's going higher. Avgo over here, guys, very clearly just waiting for that. I don't know what catalyst it's going to be. I have no idea, but we're probably having another impulsive move up. I'm not saying something, absolutely massive, 20% right here. But I think we're about to have, a nice 10 to 15% week here. Maybe a 10 to 20% week that stems into all-time highs. I don't know if it's going to wait for earnings. I have no idea. It loves to make big moves off earnings. It really does. But I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know. You have this very tight range at this point. Right here. $11 range. 7 days in the range. A 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I stand corrected. 8 days in the range. 8 days. Guys, 2 weeks of range about to explode. Just wait for it. You had 4 days right here. You had an equivalent leg up. You have 3 days right here. You had a leg up. Just wait to see what happens here. You get a move like that. And I'm going to be riding that bad boy. I told you guys, I'm making back that serve loss. He's coming 1 to 2 weeks. I'm pissed. All right? I wasn't planning on having to make back money. I was planning on making a lot of money. But now we're going to make back the money, and then we're going to get back to making a lot of money. Because honestly, guys, 2025, oh, it's going to be a big year. And honestly, guys, I meant what I said earlier. I am really proud of what we built here. I know you guys are just, following along with the channel, but this really was a vision of mine years ago. And I knew somehow it would come together. I knew somehow, I knew it since the age of 21 now. I've known I'm going to have $10 million by the age of 30. I'm going to have it. And, I just knew back in the day, if I just keep just brute force, just shoving myself into that equation, all right, I'm going to have my $10 million. All right. And what we have here on this channel represents how that will become the case. By the time I'm 30, I got 5 more years. 5 more years, like 4.75 more years. I'm going to have that money. All right. AMD over here, guys. Whales were buying up the 2026s. I do think you are probably going to be, starting to turn around over here. Am I going to say, it's just going to start next week? No. But I think you're going to start turning around where you are right now. Those are my thoughts on AMD. Nothing else, nothing more. MU. Closed out strong over here. You got above your supply zone we were talking about over here. You just broke up from a range that is $10. You're only $4 up right now. You're probably coming all the way up here to the next resistance at 106.74. Above 178, we're talking 106.74. Above there, you're probably testing 112.04. All right? You had this little part of the range. You have this part of the range. At some point, the whole range is going to break. And you're going to get a really big move back up to all-time highs. I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm telling you. It is coming. You just got to be patient. But clear as day, this is setting up. All right? Maybe you don't see it, but I see it. I see it. Maybe. All right. And it's or earnings. This is the other catalyst. Maybe it doesn't take that long. And it literally I don't know. But you could see this thing at certain points, it does make these vertical moves. So we can have one of these right around the corner. You see an absolute vertical move over here, 20% move. Like, what is 20%? It's going to bring you up here. So we need to get this rally going so earnings could really lift this up. But I imagine if earnings were to give you a nice 20% boost over the coming weeks, you're probably going to, continue advancing to highs. Those are the thoughts on MU. TSM over here, guys. You see the arrows? Follow the yellow brick road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. The last 5 times over the last year. You have bounced back from the weekly 21 EMA. Do you think it's about to stop right now? Probably not. All right. I pointed this out in the previous video on Thursday going into Friday that every time over the last year, the last 5 times, you found them buyers right there. You found buyers right there at the 21 EMA, which happened to be 197.98 support. And you're back at this zone. Get above 206.61. We're talking 212.60. Get above there. Probably going to start pushing all-time highs at 226.40. Weekly candle, though, I want to say this is important. You're still finding buyers here. 3 weeks in a row here, you found buyers. You found buyers here, bought up. Found buyers here, bought up. You tested right here again. You found buyers 3 weeks in a row, guys. This thing looks like it is getting ready for a move to all-time highs. And if you want to play it, you can. Earnings are all the way out here. All the way out here. 17th. Okay, April 17th, guys. That is your April 17th monthly hold up. That's a wrong date right there because the monthly OPEX is April 17th. Am I bugging? I might be bugging. Oh, the monthly OPEX is April 17th because we have Friday off. What is the holiday on April 18th? I didn't know we had the holiday. I feel like it's a really obvious one. I'm bugging about it. I don't know. Bitcoin over here, guys, really just got to snap above 97.7K here. You've been getting rejection for about a week now there. Get above there. You're probably going to test 100, 185, and at that point, 102.76. And then, hey, you're really cooking. You probably just start heading back to all-time highs. This thing it's consolidating. It's building out your range. At some point, you probably have another leg up incoming. MSTR is the one I would be focusing on if you're going to be trading these things. All right, and actually a chip stock that I just realized we did not cover, but is making a comeback again. So I want to say this is one I'm going to start covering again. INTC, I was not going to cover it after we started breaking down from this because, you know, I was bullish on the setup over here. I played this pop and then it died. And I was like, oh, good thing we took profits. Then we never touched it again. Well, it's now coming back. As we could see, we are pretty extended here, but I think you are probably just going to pull back one more day and then hit the gas again. All right. So, you know, probably just building out a little base kind of thing to launch off of. This daily 9 is going to catch up the price, and then you continue on up past 26 bucks. So 26.43, that high right there, I do think it's going to be taken out. The zone that you could be paying attention to is right here. All right, 25.61 to 26.43. I think that's probably going to be hit this week. Weekly candle is nothing but bullish. Look for continued upside. That's INTC. Now, let's get into Henry's trade ideas going into the following week. Let's get it. First things first, you. All right, let me pull up my list here. All right, you are right here at that trend line, at that downtrend right there. And, you know, you can extend this here and you could just pay attention to that one, or you can, you know, have it looking something like that. It is up to you. I have mine drawn just for the most touch points right there. You are just about to test that. I do think this is going for a ride. You have a nice weekly hammer / pin bar candlestick off of increasing volume here right before earnings. Earnings is usually a nothing burger. Because of that, I am looking for earnings to crush options premiums and then for the charts to prevail. Over here, you had an earnings move, it looked like. I'm not sure what earnings is going to do, but you do have earnings here on Thursday. I imagine you're going to be rallying into those earnings. Chart is nothing but bullish. Next one, ASTS. Now, this is one I put on your radar right here. Right here, going into this trend line, I said, hey, this is a buy. Bought off open. All right. We ended up selling into this spike right here. And I'm just going to let you guys know, I think it's about to be pushing up to 39.08, probably this week. I have no guarantees for you, but I will tell you this right now. This was a $10 move. Give me a $10 move right now. You go higher. This week was a 20% week. All right. Give me another 20% week. We go higher, like past all-time highs. It's probably going to happen. This thing is just starting a next leg up. Probably going to happen. Get ready for it. ACHR. Archer. 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 I really like the daily and weekly chart over here. It reminds me of something that broke above all-time highs over here and decided to skyrocket, absolute skyrocket. Expect HIMs to keep going higher, by the way. This is the heaviest volume. Not the heaviest, but it's getting really up there. And it's the highest price it's ever been at. This is double. Just keep this one in mind. You have this volume right here. See this heavy volume? All right. Heavy volume, right? Notice how it's not double this volume candlestick. We had more than half the volume over here traded at $60. Then we did at $25. Okay. Double the price, more than double the price, and you're still having volume spike up into highs. This thing's going to keep going, guys. HIMs over here going to keep going. Expect dips to be bought here. Probably just consolidation here on the daily time frame before you continue, just seeing these green weekly candles. I think this is probably going to be pushing 100 without it's looking. I'm going to be completely honest. That's my honest opinion here. I had big expectations when this had a sexy break and retest, and I didn't even play it. I was really just disappointed. That's why I was disappointed on SERV so much, because I really thought I was about to be rich. I thought this thing was going to pull a HIM style move, just an outsized move, and I was just going to so happen to be in it with size. And boom, all in one day. Oh, there's 150K day. Like, give me something like that. Just give me this 30% move on this chart over here before it freaking fell off a cliff. Just give it to me like that. Oh my God, I would have been so up. It would have been literally like a 200K trade. And I was just genuinely so disappointed, not because I was just down the money, but because I was so ready for that big day, that following day. I was just so ready for it. And, just didn't announce that Nvidia was going to, sell off their stake there. And this thing genuinely would have exploded. It would have been lights out. This over here, this chart reminds me of that. Okay. I'm just so heavily disappointed in that SERV play. So heavily. I was genuinely, I was a greedy little pig. I tell you guys not to be greedy little pigs. I was genuinely a greedy little pig. I was up 100% on the position. Barely had taken off any at that point. So, took off, I think it was 30 contracts out of, a lot more contracts. It was like 200 something. So, it is what it is. Greedy pig. That's me. That is me, everyone. Not perfect. Very far from it. ACHR, though, I think this is getting ready for a spike up into the highs. This thing has been consolidating here, whether you want to, be looking at it like that or looking at it like this. This thing just got a breakout on Friday, and I do think this is enough to bring it up to new highs. All right. Weekly chart is absolutely freaking coiled over here after breaking to new all-time highs. This is a $4.7 billion market cap. I do think it is going to be moving. All right. I do think this can get up to 1248. And then I do think it also can continue higher up until, we're talking like 15, 20 bucks on this next move. That's just my opinion. All right. Next one. Baba. Guys, big base here. Big base, about to break out of that big base. Been basing out for 3 years. Imagine what happens when it breaks. This thing was once all the way up here at 300 bucks. This thing was about $1 trillion market cap, just about up here, just about at the highs. It was almost there. I remember it was 800 to 900 billion. Then it died. All right. And it never came back up until just now. It is coming back right now. This thing looks like it's going to continue exploding. Daily chart is not showing any weakness. None. Every single, gap up followed by an intraday move down just gets bought. All right. Another just keeps gapping up. So I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I think this thing's going to start moving very quick to this next area of resistance, which is going to be 140. All right. It's right over here at 138.70 and above there, guys. Oh my gosh. 182. We have earnings coming up. I don't know what's going to happen with them. We have this gap we could pay attention to right over there. Really, spot right here. You can see, bought right there, sold right here. You sold through a break and retest action right there. So this 138.70, that's going to be a big spot. I think it could head straight to 138.70 here. You are just continuously having these big days. I think you're going to keep having these $5 to $10 days until you get 138.70. Just my opinion. All right. So that's BABA. The next one is catching up to BABA. This thing, BABA has exploded. This thing is not. All right. So I do think this has potential here. Now you do have earnings here. Tuesday morning before the bell. So you don't have a chance to play this one before. You know, I didn't get into this thing. I want to see what happens off earnings. I think if you have a nice earnings move up, I think you're gonna it's gonna be something that continues up, or you are going to just, you know, kill your premiums there. But you know, over here you had earnings in the morning on this day right here. All right, and then from, you know, where you reported those and opened that morning up, you had then a 13% run over the following 3 to 4 trading sessions. I think that can happen over here. I genuinely do think this could play some catch up with what we're seeing on China right now. All right, you got this guy over here. It's looking, you know, like, holy Jesus, is China about to explode? I don't know. But you have a really big base going on over here on China stocks, and at some point, this 3-year base is gonna explode, and it's gonna be just traps. It is what it is from that point. All right, you had RK. It's gonna be something. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're gonna break out, have this initial move. You're about to see this. All right, you're about to see that over here on Bobby. You see the initial move like this, and then you pull back, and then you retest it. All right, but you know, probably you're not even gonna test it. You're gonna, you know, have that initial move consolidate into like a flag or something with all this strength, and then you continue, you know, going way up after that. Probably gonna be how that goes. So Baidu and Baba, I'm watching them. TEM, I gave it to you right before it broke out, and I gave you know the idea around it. If you were taking the buy off of a daily close above 77, I'd said, hey, please do not take any risky options, bets off this. Please make sure you're trading with, you know, some dated contracts. I like the April contracts. I think they're going to do well here. I'm ideally just looking for the retest over here of 77, or at least a pullback to around $80. That's where I got my alert for. 77 to 80, I'm looking for the pullback there. If I see it, that is a clear as day buying opportunity for myself. All right, but over here, this pullback was $7.80, so $8. All right, like I don't think we're gonna pull back over here to $77 with how this is looking. It looks like it just wants to continue higher. All right, next one we're talking about is a firm. Very sexy break and retest. This is the same picture as Bob over there before it broke out. So Bob is, you know, it's either over here. I don't know how this is going to happen. We're about to see. But, you know, a firm broke out. You barely moved since breaking out over here. I mean, you know, this is a log chart. So you did, you know, the measured move of this, you technically did, I think, you know, get something similar. $43 right there. You get the whole thing playing out at this point, but you know, you are $30 the way there. I think you're going to get up to 90, and then 108.20. I think it's going to be hit. That's the target when you broke out from over here. I said you're probably going to be, you know, running up there. That's what we were thinking. We're going to take that off right there. You know, you could actually see on the daily chart, it was just pulling back, consolidating. So you broke out of this consolidation, pulled back, consolidate after you broke out there, and now you are looking like you want to continue running. So I do think you're getting up to 83.57 probably Monday or Tuesday. And then I do think you're probably going to start pushing towards $90 over here on a firm. McDonald's over here, gapped up off earnings. You didn't miss on earnings, but you gapped up off those earnings. And I do think you're, with how this is setting up, it's setting up for a move to all-time highs. Anytime you saw the 4-hour RSI, I forgot the exact, you know, thing I was looking at. But anytime the 4-hour RSI got right here, over the, or not right here. Was it right here? Anytime except for this one right here. No. What was I looking at? There was something, I backed this. It was either with this one or with the extended hours on. Anytime it hit here, you based out for like 1 to 2 weeks, and then you ended up getting another $5 to $10 move. You got a $7 move every time. I think it was on extended hours. Regardless, guys, with how it's setting up, I'm looking for that extension style move here. I'm looking for you to consolidate, build out your base for 1 to 2 weeks. Since this move here, I was looking for a 1 to 2 week consolidation period, and then I'm looking to play that breakout to a new all-time high above 317.90. So, you know, ideally, I'm going to buy the bottom of the range this next week, and then I'm going to play for a move up to 317.90. I'm going to scale the position here. All right, let's make that a red line. Come on, buddy, come in, come on. All right, so I'm going to be buying. Ideally, I'm going to buy as close as possible to 305.63 down here, bottom of the range, and I'm going to, you know, trim the position here, top of the range. Get a $5 move on the March contracts. You're getting a decent gain right there. Get a $10 move. You're getting almost 100% gain. So, you know, get this. You're probably going to be 40, 50% up already. Take some profits off and then ride the rest to 100% gains, which is going to be around 315, you know, and then get to new all-time highs. At this point, you get to 315. You're coming 317. Hold like a runner or two for new highs. That's how I'm personally planning on trading this. Like I said, guys, we're making that we're making that money back probably this next week. Honestly, we have a hot freaking market right here, guys. We have a hot freaking market. I'm here to take advantage of it. You should be too. Roblox over here, guys. Weekly time frame is what I am focused on. You know, but I'm going to be honest. This is not one I'm going to be trading. I will put it on your radar, but you know, out of everything I just pointed out, I'm going to be trading ASTS, ACHR. Probably not you. Baidu, I want to be trading that. TEM, I want to be trading that. McDonald's, I'm trading that one guaranteed. And yeah, KO out of the ones I'm gonna, you know, pitch to you right here. Netflix, Uber, and KO. But yeah, so that's what I'm personally doing. These all have great setups. All right, I like certain ones more than others, and I will focus on them. But over here, guys, you got bought up on the last test from your weekly 9 EMA. You're probably going to do so here. You're finding buyers 2 weeks in a row. I think you're about to test 69.77 to 73.71 again, and potentially you're going to take out this high this time. We'll see what happens here, but if you push back into the zone, I imagine you're going to take it out and start heading to 79.02. So that is something that I'm going to be watching. I told you, I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm not going to be trading this one. You've ran a very long way since, you know, where I started trading this one. And I personally, I will not be putting on a trade all the way up here. I just won't. I think there are better setups. XYZ over here. I like the weekly candlestick over here off the 21 EMA. You're in that bull flag type of setup over here. Consolidating right here on, you know, a lot of these setups, I'm going to point out, they look the same over here with these 3-year bases. This thing's going to be breaking up for that next leg up. You have earnings coming up here. I think it's on Tuesday. On Friday. No, not on Friday. On Thursday. We have a lot of earnings on Thursday. 3 out of the tickers we've talked about today have earnings on Thursday. So big day on Thursday will be an eventful day for this channel. There we go. XYZ, though, I do think you're about to start recovering here. Get above 85.80, and that's when you start probably pushing up here to 88.73, and then above there 93.19. If you get above 93.19, you're just going to be pushing to 99.26. If earnings brings you down here, or you fall into earnings and you undercut this low here, come down to the lower end of the flag over here. Daily RSI hits this spot. That's where you know, been bouncing back out for a little while. So if you see that, I'm going to take a position into earnings. But aside from that, the play here is to wait and to see what happens out for earnings. If earnings ends up giving you a big green stick over here, you play either this consolidation into the next move, or you just play that breakout for the next move. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but I do think earnings, solid shot earnings, gives you that next little move up here. And then we have another trending move starting up, which should be massive. All right, you had the first move here, consolidating pretty bigly over here, probably followed by another big move up. Netflix, I'm just saying it's continuing higher. That was the plan before. This is the plan now. You broke and retest off 999. You're looking like you want to start pushing higher. I think 1080 to 1100 coming this week. Probably, you know, Monday or Tuesday there. Uber, weekly chart, I think is, you know, just uber bullish. Okay, there's a saying, it's uber bullish. Well, this is uber bullish. I'm guessing people called this uber bullish. I think this saying may have came around during this time period right here. Maybe. I feel like it was around before them. Regardless, guys, this thing, I'm uber bullish on Uber stock. This thing does look like it wants to break above 81.25 probably this week here. And then above there, 87 bucks. I imagine you're just going to go straight there. But you're kind of just doing this thing here. I think, you know, since, you know, recently you had the earnings, and then you had Bill Ackman announcing a position over here. And this is probably going to be bought. I think it was Bill Ackman. This is probably, you know, just a repricing of the stock price here, and it's probably going to be repriced over all-time highs. That's Uber for you. KO. This is one I put on your radar well before this advance here. You're now selling off from the golden pocket. If it pulls back, I'm looking to buy that with dated contracts. These contracts, you do not need a big move. The stock, I mean, now I haven't looked at them after the spike. So they probably, the implied volatility, it's probably, they're probably more expensive. You probably need a bigger move to pay out what you did over here when I was really looking at these guys. But I'm still going to be looking at that pullback to the short-term moving averages. And then after that, looking for something like this. All right. And then your next move. I think you're just going to continuously get bought up off of these short-term moving averages. So if we could base around here for a little bit, I think it's going to be a slow grind like that, which is why I like the dated contracts. LLY. Same exact setup. I called out the reversal setup. You had the reversion into the mean. Well, you had reversion into the mean right here. You had a full retracement. So this was a reversal setup into the retracement of that move down here into the golden pocket. You're now selling off from there. I am going to be watching 811.35. And if you test there, all right, if you start coming into that level, I think it's probably going to be bought here. Big spot here. All right, sellers. You got above, you started finding buyers. So you can like kind of see right here. You had this zone, you flipped it. All right, so if you pull back into that zone, I imagine you're going to get bought here and quickly at least get bought back up here to 84646. So 811.35 up to 84646. That's the initial play I want to participate in. Or you're just buying over here. You're looking for move above this high over here. Those are the two plays I'm seeing right here on this chart. But yeah, really, I'm looking for this move right here. And then after that, you're going to get back up the highs. But this is the easy money move. Okay? Out of all the ones I just put on your radar, my favorites, ASTS, ACHR. This kind of is a winner right now, in my personal opinion. TEM, if we get the pullback into the previous high. McDonald's, I've been waiting patiently for this move because I literally wanted my 100% gain off of this earnings move. And I could have had it if I just, bought right here into the golden pocket. I just, I know myself. I'm not willing to do that. Now I'm waiting patiently 1 to 2 weeks sometime over here. I'm planning on taking it. It's already been 1 week. So guess what, guys? It's now about to be week 2. I'm going to be taking the position and playing for that next leg up there into highs. And then aside from that, KO on the pullback. All right. Now, if we're talking the big boys, I already told you Tesla. The weekly charts that stand out to me, Tesla, Apple. All right. Probably going to lead the way over here. And then what do I think could be the biggest move over here? I like Goog, but what do I really like? Microsoft. It has not moved at all. It's not participating in this. The bottom of the range, probably going to start moving at least to the midway of the range. That is all the way up here around, stay with me, 430. Boom. All right. With that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I really do. I put time and effort into these. I honestly, I enjoy these, making these for myself. I do definitely hope it helps you guys, but I love having, I meant what I said at the beginning of the video. I'm extremely proud of this little system we put together to pretty much always know where the market's moving. We always know where the ball is moving. If there's something to know about, we know about it. That makes me extremely, I'm glad about that. I don't want to say happy because, isn't happy like the pursuit of happiness? I think that's it. So this can't bring happiness, but, all right, money over here, guys, it can't bring happiness, but it can make life a whole lot easier. And I definitely stand by that one. And with that being said, guys, if you want to trade with me, link is going to be down below. I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.